Today we're watching Andrew Tate versus Hasan Piker in this debate. Now I've heard through the grapevine, through many a peoples on the internets.com, that Andrew Tate does pretty poor in this conversation.
Right.
Pretty poor in this conversation, which is unfortunate. I mean, I'm not super familiar with Andrew Tate. I think you said he's some kind of like I can make you successful with money and women kind of guy. I don't know if he's a pickup artist or
Hustler
what.
Inc.
Okay.
I think it's about
some
making
kind of
money.
Hustler. Yes.
The core, make the money and the women will follow.
Right.
Which I mean, that's solid advice right
That
there.
is solid advice, yes.
Whether or not you're going to make the money or whether or not he's going to make the money and the ladies are going to follow and you're going to lose your money in the stock market.
Another question.
Is another question entirely.
Yes.
Yes.
Some people had asked us to do some Andrew Tate.
Right.
I can't want to say Andrew Tate videos. So here we go.
But the question,
and we'll see how he fares in this debate with Hasan, who, in my opinion, Hasan is like gotta be easy mode debate against, right?
This debate is actually very fascinating in the context of recent debates we've been having. That's one of the reasons why I was like, oh, we should definitely cover this. Because you got Hasan here batting for team science. And you've got Andrew Tate here batting for team anecdotal evidence.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess this is like we talked about this on Sunday with TJ.
Right.
So I guess this is relevant to that conversation.
Okay. But like, remember when we were talking about the video games, how you got to, there's got to be all these different variables, but in the end, they have to match up. So it's a competitive battle. You have Andrew Tate here. Which I mean, he's probably winning in the rhetoric department. And
in this conversation, you think that Andrew is winning in the optics battle?
The optics battle, I think Andrew Tate is doing better than Hasan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I'm curious to find out.
I mean, barring the whole, I'm gonna sit here with my shirt off. I don't necessarily know. I don't know how that plays in the.
What do you mean? That's the ultra Chad move. Okay.
Is it? I mean, he seems like a pretty muscular guy. So
well, didn't he used to be like a professional kickboxer?
Was he
MMA fighter or something?
Okay. Well, I don't see Hasan taking his shirt off, but
right.
If it was two guys with their shirts off, I'd think, okay, when's the gay porn beginning? So.
That is funny. That's hilarious. One guy has his shirt off. You're like, wow, he's trying to assert his dominance. Both guys have their shirt off. You're like, okay.
This is something's going to happen soon that I don't want to be a part of.
That's the move. That's the move. You turn on your Zoom call. You see one guy's got a shirt off. You just go, all right. He's pulling his shirt.
That would have been a good. Well, I guess not. That would have backfired.
Let's get it on.
Hasan.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Anyway.
Is it okay? Do you think it works, or do you think it's
the shirt off?
Do you think it's kind of like Steven Crowder? He has the gun holsters. That you're like, oh my god, Steven, what are you doing?
Yeah.
In the middle of the studio, are you think you're gonna have a quick draw competition with your guests? Like, what's happening here?
I think he's marketing the gun, so it makes some sense with Steven Crowder. I don't know that he's marketing invisible T-shirts here on the Andrew Tate show.
Yes.
Right. All right.
Okay.
Shall we get into it?
Yeah.
Andrew, I've seen some of your work as you're doing the rounds on Twitch here, and a lot of the things that you said that you've been called out on, specifically in regards to like women driving, as a matter of fact, are just generally untrue. There's no empirical evidence to back up those claims.
Let's read what this says.
Wait, did you pull this one up? I didn't pull this one up. Let's not watch this one. Let's watch the other one.
Is there a different one?
Yeah, this one has a bunch of Hasan's editing in it, so you don't necessarily know what dumb shit Hasan said that he fucking edited out.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Bring up whichever one you want to bring up.
Let me see here.
Debating Andrew. Where did I get this one then?
Oh, maybe this
is the one you sent me. What are you talking about?
Okay. I thought it's
like if I were to
Okay, I thought this one started with him joining the stream. Okay, no, this is on some other guy's channel. So, okay. Here we go.
Debate Andrew Tate, I'd like to do it on my own terms, where I, talk to him on my own time and not in the middle of my, like, news coverage. You know what I mean?
Still waiting for this.
Hold up. Anyway, Tate thinks he's lazy, just going around to each community, going on streams and recruiting more people. Yeah, I know. It's kind of weird that, like, everyone's kind of letting that happen and letting it slide. Do it. There are a lot of incels in Bucky's community. Oh, that's who that was who added me? Hold on. I'm trying.
So I don't know if this is... I don't know if Hasan runs this channel, because I thought this was a Hasan fan channel. Maybe it's not. Hasabi Productions.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is not the one. Maybe I put the wrong one up.
Trying to find their friend request. I don't know. Here, I accepted it. Just have Tate on your own stream instead of going somewhere else. Moderators can make or break. No, I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna pop in and be like, listen, I'll have a conversation. You do it, but I don't think it's a good idea. If you do it, there will be a lot of insults from Clicks and Bucky's community. I think you guys are a little too afraid of. Hasan, your talking points are solid, but if you want to
Yes, Hasan's just gonna go in. Good. Get in there.
body Tate, you have the masseuse present. Yeah.
What else?
Yo, I'm in here right now. I just gotta fix my camera. 1 second.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Hassan, let's go, man. I appreciate you,
I'm
boss.
interested in seeing what the chat thinks. The reason you're totally wrong saying that the world would have less war if there was no female leaders is because if you actually ask anybody who's been in the corporate world for long enough, the companies that have the most arguments, the most difficult corporate structures to deal with, in fact, even if you ask most women, they say, I don't like having a woman boss. I'd rather work for a man. When you have a whole bunch of women in charge, it's nothing but a fucking bitch fest and it's a shit show. Every single fucking person who's ever worked in corporate knows that. Every single person who's ever worked in the world knows that women actually, as beautiful as they are and they're good at lots of different things, they would they would prefer to work for a male boss because it's a stronger, more clear leadership structure. Having a bunch of women in charge of countries is not going to make a fucking peaceful world. And the fact you believe that shows your entire mental model's fucked.
I mean, this is somewhat true. Female hierarchies and male hierarchies structure themselves very differently. So.
Right.
And I've heard a ton of, now I'm getting into the anecdotes.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot of women say, I'd much rather have a male boss.
That's because they're internalized misogyny, Adam.
You think so? Or they just don't like...
Fucking hell.
I think it comes back to the thing that we talk about on the show quite often, that men can take conflict and let go of it faster than women. And there's a lot of conflict in the workplace. So, if there's conflict in the workplace and the women can't let go of it, then it's difficult. It makes it difficult moving forward. This plays out with chimpanzees too. The female chimpanzees, when male chimpanzees fight, a lot of times they'll end up better friends after the fight. They'll exhibit more grooming behavior towards one another because they're kind of testing one another out. When female chimpanzees fight, it's over. They never interact with one another again. Yeah. So it's a...
Well, I mean, I want to be hesitant here because I don't want to... Actually, I don't think I've ever had a female boss. So I can't comment on that, on my personal experiences. But without looking... I know that science is lame and studies are lame. But without looking at some sort of like study, I don't want to make broad assertions. I can agree with what you're saying.
Well,
theoretically,
what I'm saying, it was based on studies. This was out of Why Gender Matters by...
What I'm saying is, I understand what you're saying theoretically, and I can understand the argument that on average, when you look at the way that men and women fight, they fight very differently. Men when they fight, not always, but often once a hierarchy is established and men figure out their place in the hierarchy, they can move forward. Sometimes, not always. There are men that hold grudges to their fucking dying breath, just as much as there are women that do that.
Yeah. Soy female beta bitches.
There you go. But I understand what you're saying. I just wouldn't want to necessarily say that that's going to manifest always in the workplace.
Who holds the longest grudges on YouTube? It's Vosh. That was an easy one. You should just why are you taking so long?
I was waiting for you to give the answer.
Who has the most female reputation damage, talk shit about people style on YouTube? Vosh. I disagree. Vosh
is toxically masculine in so many ways.
Did you not see Destiny's manifesto?
He's both.
Destiny's
He's just
12-hour
toxic, I guess, period.
Destiny's 12-hour manifesto is all devoted to how much Vosh lies in the pursuit of reputation destruction, which is the signature move of toxic femininity. Reputation destruction is how females fight. That's how females resolve conflict.
Yeah, but okay, but you understand that, like, in the YouTube space, when you have these fights, okay, so much of it is reputation destruction.
Yes.
And, you know, internet debate. Like, no one's actually getting, well, not no one. Most people are not getting into fist fights over this stuff.
Well, that's why the creator boxing is so popular, because they're like, listen, we need a male outlet for these people.
Right.
All right.
Actually, and let's see who agrees with you. Who agrees with me.
Why will we take a poll in the chat? Of course, teenage boys are going to agree with your hyper idealized manhood. Like, they need to cling to that.
Okay, do you guys want me to step in on this conversation, or
let's go?
No, we're not gonna do no 2 versus 1 bullshit. We're gonna wrap it up with Tommy, and then you guys can go at it.
no 2 versus 1 bullshit? Yeah, you mean like the Aiden Ross stream when anyway. XQC was getting fucking triple teamed. All right.
I didn't want that.
All right, Tommy.
I'm just a messenger. Let's not hate.
No, but Tommy, thank you for coming on. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on. I hope you have a safe flight, and I hope you enjoyed your time here.
Dude, I did. Andrew, take care, brother. Hassan, I just want to say props to you, boss. I appreciate you, man, putting the work.
So I think Andrew Tate is going on these other creators' streams to kind of talk up the Hustler Inc.
So he was arguing with a literal pink-haired feminist before Hasan came in. Is that what we're seeing the tail end of?
Perhaps. Now the pink-haired feminist is passing the baton to Hasan, so he can come in and.
That was pretty. It's pretty lame though to say, "Oh, we have to kick this guy out, so it's not 2-on-1."
Right. We never do that.
Well, I'll defend people who we have on, and if they're getting ganged up on, but I'm not gonna be like.
I didn't see that with TJ. I mean, I was the only one defending him from the 3-on-1 assault.
No, I mean we weren't. I don't think in the conversation with TJ, I don't think it was the round robin gang up.
It was drifting in that direction.
I don't think it was.
Yeah,
I don't think it was. I mean, there's a reason why that I let Mahler and Sean do a lot of the talking, because I didn't want it to stray into that territory.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Anyway.
Hey, thank you guys.
Good to talk.
Have a good day.
Appreciate you coming on, Tommy. Have a good one, man.
Cheers. Thank you.
Wow, that was quite the conversation. How do you feel about my guy Tommy?
Sorry, you asking me or the?
Yeah.
On my way to 19.
I don't know him personally. I have nothing against him personally. He's a new age thing.
Why are we watching this version? The version I brought up just got right into the debate.
Because we want to see we don't want to miss anything that's in the debate.
Okay.
You don't know.
He lives in the new think.
You think? Well, no. The version on Hasan's channel is 24 minutes longer than this.
Yeah, because Hasan talks a bunch of shit about him after he's already gone, about how well, and talks about how well he did in the debate and how he destroyed him. And
we'll see it that we'll watch it afterwards. See how that plays out.
The way the world runs and has always run is a bad thing, and that,
I mean, we can fast forward. I don't want Hasan to be editing stuff out. That's obviously,
you don't want him to edit out the ums and ahs and breaths and cuts.
Well, there are edits in this. I don't know if he's got like maybe he throws a DMCA down on somebody and says, "Hey, edit the ums out of this, otherwise you got to take it down." He might. I don't know.
If we change everything from the ground up, it's somehow going to become a magically better place. Obviously, he has no proof or any references for his way of thinking because it's never been tested before. It's an untested theory. I think that for him to come along and say such blanket statements that if we changed all the world leaders to women, there wouldn't be war is inane and asinine. I think for him.
Now, I do agree with that. That is a dumb fuck position. That's an incredibly stupid position. If that's what pink-haired feminist was arguing.
Yeah.
If only all the leaders in the world were women, there would be no war. It's weird because feminists say that, but that's a horribly sexist thing to say. Because you're basically saying, well, women are a bunch of pussies.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what you're saying? Now they will say, oh, no. I'm saying that men are just a bunch of
egomaniacs.
Egomaniac warmongers. Right. It's like, listen, there are lots of wars that are driven by ego that are not necessary. But a lot of wars, like, do you have to fight these wars? They're defensive wars.
Right.
People are going to start shit.
And the woman's going to run with her tail between her legs and say, oh, no more war.
And it's incredibly sexist to think that, like, what are women just so pure, so better at conflict resolution? If Putin was Putin-chan, okay, he thinks she wouldn't have invaded Ukraine? She'd been like, let's just talk it out. Let's just talk it out, guy. No.
I thought Hillary Clinton was laughing about drone striking some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Part of the reason people didn't want Hillary was she said that she wanted to create a no-fly zone.
Right.
Was in Iraq or Afghanistan. Is ridiculous. It's just, and people were freaking out about that. They're going to shoot down Russian planes. So, like, there you go.
It's funny that the pink-haired feminist comes in for the traditional gender roles.
And he just reinforces them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, get lost.
And it's extra stupid because, a woman that climbs the dominance hierarchy to become like the president of a country.
Right. Okay. Yeah. They got to step on a lot of heads.
A lot of heads. Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, it's going to weed out the women that are not willing to do the dirty work of becoming a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he doesn't know selector theory. I mean, any leftist, they're in the dark. They're just basically going to the first thing that comes to their mind. They don't think it out.
Okay. It's like a human being. I don't understand people that choose to be stereotypes. Like, this guy's a feminist, which, okay, fair enough. Why would you say, let me become the stereotype of the feminist? Let me dye my hair pink.
Well, that's so you can broadcast your virtue to people.
It's just so, like, don't you want to be like a person and not a character from, like, a TV show? Or don't you want to not be a stereotype of someone? Like, why don't you want to be an individual person, a real live person?
It's scary. Individualism is scary. You gotta, like, you could do something wrong. You could say something that's not cool or wear something that's not cool.
Okay.
Yeah. It's dangerous. Sitch. It's like operating without a net. Gotta know.
How are people gonna know I'm a feminist if I don't dye my hair pink?
Right.
And argue that the world would be no wars if women were in charge of things.
Yeah.
Which that's the dumbest argument ever, because let's assume that that's true. Just assume hypothetically that were true, which is not. If that was true, that would just guarantee that women would never be leaders of all the countries in the world.
Right. Yeah.
Because you'd say they're not aggressive enough to get in those positions and hold that positions of power in the first place.
I don't understand why we even have progressives in charge of things like the military and law enforcement. It seems like those institutions are better served just by having conservatives at the helm.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we? I feel like a better way to run government would be, electing, progressives or conservatives for certain roles in the government. Right?
No, I think we need more, not even trans people. I think we need more guys in dresses to be in charge of our military. Okay, I think we need more guys in dress.
So it sounds like you agree with me. Okay, it sounds like my argument has.
No, I disagree. I'm saying the opposite. I think we need guys. I think we need drag queens. I think drag queens should run the military. Think about how fierce. Think of how fierce our military would be if it was run by drag queens.
We have that situation now. Biden's head of Health and Human Services is transgender, and the head of some Homeland Security or something like that is non-binary or trans or something like that. You know this,
something
right?
like that. That's what I was referencing.
Yeah, So do you think that's good?
No, I don't. The non-binary person is deputy director of nuclear waste or something, disposal or something.
Okay,
I don't know. It's not military related. The other one, I don't know who the other person is. I don't know if the other person is trans or what's going on there, but regardless.
Right.
For him to say that a man who's physically strong can't be mentally strong is also stupid. But I also understand why he's saying the ideas he's saying, because he has a natural insecurity based on the fact that he's not a physical specimen of man, and the way he gets around it is to pretend that that's not important, which is fine. Lots of people do it, right? Stupid people saying being smart is not important. Poor people saying being rich is not important. It's a common defense mechanism that everybody does, and I completely understand it. However, most people with a basic grasp of economics and the way societies work would look at society and say, you know what? A society with brave, strong men who are full of honor and duty is actually a better society than men who walk around saying I have no duty to protect anybody or protect anything, and I can just sit around and cry all day. And this theory is being tested in real time, right? America's quickly turning into the latter, and we can see crime rates going through the roof. We can see all the fucking school shooting and all this stupid shit that's happening because men have no emotional control anymore. And that's what's going to happen. Is the society's going to degrade, and the countries where men still stick to their honor and their age-old expected ways of acting, are there going to be a safer societies overall? So time will prove me right, but I have nothing against the guy. He's fine.
I think Andrew and the previous person that was on the call are just two sides of the same coin. They're both wrong, and they're both kind of right in different ways. But thinking that this has anything to do with gender is silly, all right? It has nothing to do with gender. Women can be just as oppressive and as brutal as men can be. Ultimately, it has everything to do with capitalism, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the gender. The assumption that women...
I know. This is where Hasan totally just fucking... Such a moron. It's the single factor analysis of the world. This has to do with capitalism. It's not biological sex differences. It's not how individuals come to power. It's not, nobody rules alone. It's capitalism.
Listen, at first I was like, oh, look at Hasan over here. He's saying something that's intelligent. He's like, it had nothing to do with gender. He doesn't want to fall into the trap of the single factor analysis.
Oh no, but he is.
Good on you, Hasan.
No, he is going to fall into the trap. It's just not the single factor you think it is.
That's right. Hasan definitely jumps over the pitfall of gender stereotypes and then slams directly on the rake of capitalism.
Yes, yeah. All of this would be different if we just had collectively owned property and nobody had private property. That would make all the difference in the world.
That's the dumbest okay.
It's not even related.
It's not even related. If every country in the world only had co-ops, why would that affect whether you go to war or not? At all.
Well, there would be a lot more war because you have virtually no resources. Every single country would be living in squalor. Yeah,
but also, actually, I think that would increase war because you'd have more people that would have more material conditions directly tied into the war.
Yeah,
be more group ownership.
Right. They wouldn't have any weapons or anything. They'd be fighting with sticks, but okay, they'd still be fighting.
Well, no, I'm just saying, hypothetically, assume that this society that we live in exists, but just with co-ops. Right. I know that's a stretch, but.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had more, if all of the weapons, they always bring up the industrial military complex with the weapons manufacturers. Okay, so if we had all the same weapons manufacturers, they're just co-ops, so they're owned by more people. There's just greater incentive for to sell weapons to more people.
Yeah.
It's just, okay. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Hasan does he bring forward any argument for this, or does he just throw it out there like a smelly fart that we all just have to suck up and then just go, oh God, and try to escape from?
He drops the capitalism thing pretty quick because he realizes it's completely irrelevant.
Okay.
He just had to throw it in there, branding, whatever.
You're right. This is his, yeah.
Women are going to be hysterical across the board. That kind of generalization is just incorrect. And that's why, Andrew, I've seen some of your work as you're doing the rounds on Twitch here. And a lot of the things that you said that you've been called out on, specifically in regards to women driving, as a matter of fact.
Oh, you know what? You're right. It's a good thing we saw this because in the version he uploads on his channel, he cuts out that really dumb fuck capitalist line.
Did he
Or his
really?
editor does. Yeah. He didn't say that. It started
Really?
right here. Yes.
I told you.
Yeah, they cut that out.
I told
He's like,
you.
his editor's like, Hasan, this is really stupid. Okay.
Fact are just generally untrue. There's no empirical evidence to back up those claims, which is why you resort to anecdotes quite frequently and say things like, oh, well, it's just common sense, right? But it's not technically common sense. It's just your personal opinion.
Completely. It's my personal opinion based on my personal biases of my life experience. Now, when I say exactly. And when I say these things, X amount of people agree with me and X amount of people disagree with me. That's fine, and that's the same of nearly any statement in the world.
Okay,
I can say the world is round, and there'll be a percentage of people who disagree with me. That's totally and utterly fine. I come on here and talk about my own personal experiences, and my experiences, men are better drivers than women. I'm not saying there's no good female drivers. I'm not saying a female can't.
No. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Okay, so we're already off to a really bad start for Andrew because he started this conversation by criticizing pink-haired feminists for not having any sort of evidence or scientific data to back up his claim that the world would be better if it was run by women instead of men.
Right.
And now Hasan has said, you just made a claim without scientific evidence, and he's saying, well, I'm just my opinion, man.
Well, no, but he does link it to a good argument, I think.
Okay, maybe he does it later. I'm just saying, right off the bat, he's already throwing science away when that was his criticism of the other guy, like 10 seconds earlier.
Well, you got to be skeptical of science, and that his argument ultimately comes down to, you do need to be skeptical of science, and
we need to be skeptical of one, bad science, and two, the conclusions. People often will try to draw broad conclusions from studies that are very specific and narrow.
Right. Hasan is drawing from these studies that women are better drivers, which maybe statistically they're better drivers, but
Adam is like,
well, I just you can't because you have some study that says women are statistically better drivers, you can't say that doesn't tell you anything about individual drivers. Like there can be really shitty women drivers.
It's just telling you on average.
Right. Yeah. So, but Hasan seems to be extrapolating from that you can determine all women are better drivers, which that's not really what.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the study/argument that he brings up is.
Right.
There is a truth, and then there is your own personal experiences backed by anecdotes, right? Or your own personal opinion backed by anecdotes from your own personal experiences. Now, your own personal experiences are oftentimes going to be incorrect and not close to the reality. That's why there's an entire field of statistical analysis. That's why we do empirical. That's why we rely on empirical evidence.
I mean, it feels to me like Hasan is hyperventilating. So I don't see this as rhetorically effective.
You think he's hyper? Wait.
I feel like Hasan...
I was only listening. I wasn't watching.
I feel like Hasan is really struggling. Yeah.
And not close to the reality. That's why there's an entire field of statistical analysis.
I feel like Hasan's heart is like racing here.
I don't.
And he's super uncomfortable.
I think I understand what's happening here because to me, I don't think doesn't seem like he's hyperventilating or even nervous. I think it's that we're so used to watching him say something and then pause for like 20 seconds and then continue the sentence that like actually having Hasan talk at a normal speed in a normal fashion seems like he's on 2 times speed. Is that what's happening?
I feel like he's super nervous.
It doesn't come across that way to me, but
really? Okay.
Yeah.
We all have our personal experience.
Okay.
Analysis, that's why empirical that's why we rely on empirical evidence when we're making decisions. Why? Because we all carry a bunch of personal biases, and when we analyze situations, we do not have enough scope to grasp the entirety of the situation. We cannot comprehend it with our human brains.
Bro, listen,
which is why when it comes to women driving, it's a funny point because the truth is different. The truth is the exact opposite.
No, listen. First things first. There's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics. I'm sure you've heard that from Mark Twain. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you're deriving.
You can massage. Yeah, you can massage numbers, but
you're deriving your truth from an internet study. That's fine. You can derive your truth from an internet study on a bunch of different things. The truth of life is the truth that you experience as an individual. That is the only.
Okay. First of all, does Hasan say what the study is? What is the study he's referencing?
Don't dig up the study.
I want to dig up this fucking study. What is the study they're even talking about?
The study's going to say that, it's a spectrum. This is when Hasan says women are better drivers. That says nothing about reality.
No, but wait, I fucking hate this. I hate this so fucking much. This happens in so many internet debates. Someone says, I have a study that says you're wrong about, X. And then the person who they're debating against reflexively says, they either say, fuck studies, and science is wrong, studies are wrong. They try to make all these excuses for why studies don't work, which is dumb as fuck. Just say, what is the study? Because 9 times out of 10, you look at the study and it doesn't say what the fuck the person's saying it says.
Yeah, I completely.
So just ask them what the study is so you can look at it.
Yes, yeah.
Because I don't know what he's talking about. I would guess, I'm not 100%, I had to look this up. I would assume that men on average pay higher car insurance than women do.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what he's referencing.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Only truth that we all live within. You live within your truths, I live within my truths, because these are the truths I've experienced as an individual. If certain things happen to you over and over and over and over and over again, but the truth on the internet says it's not true, that doesn't mean that your experiences are any less real. So if you to come here and say the internet says X, especially
your experiences can be real. You could be a statistical anomaly, as a matter of fact. You can be one of those people, but more often than not, I want
to talk to you because I keep letting you talk and you're finishing your point and I'm trying to talk. So
okay, go ahead.
I'm going to. The fact that you're going on the internet, finding some study and saying that this is the truth, especially after the age of COVID and all the fucking truth we were told with that garbage, you want to sit here and say, oh, the internet said X. I'm sure the internet did. I'm talking about my personal experiences, and some people agree with me and some people do not. That is perfectly fine. Don't give a fuck if people agree with me or otherwise. People are listening to me and they're either agreeing with me or
but
not.
you're still wrong, and that's the problem.
I disagree with you.
He can't say, though, that he's wrong. I mean, he could live in an area where they don't allow women to learn how to drive.
No, Adam. Why are you making Andrew's making a horrible fucking argument. This is a dumb fuck argument. Okay. If he's going to come out on the internet and make a claim, which I don't even know what the claim was because it was regurgitated by Hasan.
Claim is equally stupid.
It might be.
Neither one of these have enough information to make either of the claims that they're making.
Wait a minute. I'm saying if Andrew, first of all, I don't even know what Andrew's claim was. Hasan stated, and I guess it is because Andrew didn't fight back against it. Hasan stated that Andrew's claim was that men are better drivers than women. Okay. And then Hasan says, well, I saw a study that says that the opposite is true. And so Andrew, instead of the smart decision would be like, well, let me look at that study real quick. What is the study we're talking about here? Okay. But he didn't go that route. Instead, he said, I don't care. There's studies on the internet, but they were wrong about COVID. They're wrong about lots of things. My lived experiences are more important than your studies. It's just my opinion, man. Like, that's the total flounder move. What is this? He's just throwing out every dumb argument he can think of. This is terrible.
Look, he made the argument that women are worse drivers than men.
Yeah.
You can't make that argument. That whatever study you're looking at,
it could be true. You can totally make that argument. That argument could be objectively true. On average.
Now you've just lost the plot.
How have I lost the plot?
I can't believe you would say that.
Explain.
So, are individual women drivers better drivers?
Okay.
The group of women drivers may be better than the group of men drivers.
Yes.
But none of that is clear here. Nobody is separating that out.
Right,
When you
right.
come out and make a declaration that women are worse drivers than men, it sounds like you're saying every single individual woman is a better driver than every single individual man. And
Right.
you can't make that claim.
No, listen, that is true.
But
And
Hasan is coming out here and making the inverse claim now. He's saying, no, you have said that every single man driver is better than every single female driver. And now I'm here to tell you, no, it's the opposite. Every single female driver is better than every single male driver. So it's just like a confluence of idiots here.
You are correct in that in this conversation, at least so far, no one has intelligently and correctly pointed out or specified what is actually being discussed properly. No one's saying
Andrew Tate is closer though, because Andrew Tate, his
let me finish.
Experience...
Let me hold on. Let me finish. Okay. But I would say, I would wager money, I would guess that if you asked Andrew and said, do you think that every single woman in all of human existence is a worse driver than every single man, I do not believe Andrew would say, yes, that is true.
No, of course he would.
Okay, because that's not okay. So that's I would say that I don't think Hasan is saying that either. I think we can.
Why even have this conversation?
Because the reason it's not being specified is because I assume that we can extrapolate that they're saying what almost everyone is saying in these kinds of conversations, which is that they're both arguing on average who is a better driver, a man or a woman.
Right, but being able to extrapolate truth from that, like if you're anything more than an insurance salesman who's going over actuaries,
yes,
is ridiculous. And this is why the personal experience is more important. He could live in an area where women are exceptional drivers, or women are proportionally worse drivers. Like, even if the statistics show women on average are better drivers nationwide, he could live in the city with the most terrible women drivers in the world, and his personal experience would point that out to him, and Hasan's study would prove that wrong.
It depends
what are you going to go with?
Wait, it depends what the claim is. And this is part Andrew didn't explain what his claim was. Okay, all we have is Hasan's...
Andrew did explain what his claim is. He's saying, listen, you have personal experience, and then you have your studies.
No. His original claim. Hasan stated his original claim was, you said women are worse drivers than men, period. Right. That was the claim. He didn't say where I live and my personal experience, blah, 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 blah. He just threw out, Hasan saying that Andrew threw out just this broad claim.
Right,
okay?
that Hasan doesn't like.
Which I will be
denigrating women.
I will I will be good faith Gary here and assume that when Andrew says men are better drivers than women, he means on average, because it would be insane to think that anyone having this conversation would mean anything other than that.
I'm sure he knows the statistics probably show. You know, obviously,
I don't think he does.
Young male drivers get charged more for insurance because, on average, young male drivers exhibit riskier behavior.
Well, that's what I don't even know if that's true. I'm assuming if you look at the statistics without looking at anything, and we could look into this during the stream and maybe it will be wrong, but I'm assuming without looking at anything that if I were to look at the statistics, it would show that men cause far more car accidents than women. And because of that, men end up paying more car insurance. And I would assume that whatever study Hasan is talking about says something along those lines. Okay? However...
Oh, no, the however.
No, you want the however. The however helps Andrew. Okay. And this is why his argument, and even the argument you're making, I think, is a bad argument. Okay? You can have a study that shows that men cause more car accidents than women. Okay? You can have... That could be a fucking objective fact of reality.
I'm sure that study exists.
It could also be an objective fact of reality that even though men cause more accidents, if you took 1 million men and 1 million women and you made them drive a car course that tested their driving skills, that men on average might score better on that than women on average. They might be, I don't know, have better spatial awareness, better spatial skills than women on average, and be quote unquote better drivers. Okay?
Correct.
So this is the problem with this conversation, and why Andrew's such an idiot for just saying, oh, fuck studies, and why he's not actually analyzing the information intelligently. It can be simultaneously true that men are better drivers than women on average, but also cause more car accidents than women on average. Both those things could be
Gary
true.
Just left the building.
What?
I don't think he ever says fuck studies.
Yeah, but that's the argument he's making. He's like, what do you mean? He just said, oh, you know, they were wrong about COVID. Hasan.
He has shown some skepticism of Hasan's hypothetical study that nobody
He doesn't
has
even
seen.
know what the study is. He didn't even say, well, what's the study that you're talking about? Let me look at it. You can't just... he's 100... You cannot tell me that Andrew's not acting 100% elephant in the situation. 100% elephant.
The claim being made is that...
Yes.
The way that I see it, there's a claim being made here by Hasan that we can use this study to discern truth. That when you go out into the world... That claim could be
wrong. That claim could be 100% wrong.
That's all I'm saying. That claim is 100% wrong because you can't look at that study and, go out on your Tinder date and assume, oh, I know this study, so this woman must be a great driver.
That's not what you're okay. You're adding something.
So hold on a second. How do you know?
Not there.
How do you know? How do you know when you go out on your Tinder date that the woman is a good driver or a bad driver?
You don't know. No one knows.
You could know if you do what?
No, listen. This is.
Think about it. Think about it.
You don't know.
You're
what
just
are you
on the
talking about?
edge.
This is why. Wait, no. This is why stereotyping and being racist and being bigoted is wrong. Okay. Someone could say, according to studies, young black males disproportionately cause, crime, violent crime more than white males. Okay, per capita.
What do you? I mean,
but wait a minute, because this is the argument that you're making.
I'm not. You don't even know. Listen. Why don't you let me make my argument, and then you make your argument? Okay?
No. You're jumping ahead. I'm saying you're making the anti-racist argument.
Look, why every single argument becomes an argument about race? What's going on, Sitch? Have you joined a secret club?
My God, why are you bad faithing me so hard right now?
I feel like you're bad faithing me. I mean,
I'm
in the middle of making a point about your Tinder date, whether or not she's a good driver or not, and you're saying, "Oh my God, Adam, there's no possible way in the world we could know if this girl is a good driver." Couldn't you just let her drive?
Yes.
Wouldn't that tell you if she was a good driver or not?
If you would let me finish, I was trying to say.
Do we have to get a DNA test on her before we can let her drive or something?
What I was trying to say before you so rudely interrupted me.
Okay. You interrupted me.
Was that before you so rudely? Maybe I did. Before you rudely interrupted me, rudely interrupting you.
I know. Okay. Listen.
Is that just like the reason you wouldn't be racist against someone, okay? Just because some part of the population on average does something. It's the same, and I understand your argument. You're not going to assume that if you're going on a date with a woman, that, well, if statistically some study says that women are better drivers than men, you're going to assume that this woman's going to be a good driver.
You're doing great. Obviously, you're almost there. You're catching up.
I'm not fucking that was...
You're catching up now.
That was such an obvious thing that I didn't even, that was like the first second of the conversation. Okay. I'm already past that.
No, you're almost
years beyond
no,
that.
No, you're still barely caught up here. So now that we've established this study of Hasan's is not going to tell you anything about your Tinder date, whether or not she can drive or not.
Which is not what Hasan claimed. But
Hasan very clearly said that this study is going to help you understand truth in the world. You can make predictions with this study, right?
That's not what he said. You're adding so much to it. You're rewriting the past. We can go back if you want.
So, good faith, Gary, let's give Hasan the benefit of the doubt that he means the study can tell you that the group of women in the United States has a better driving record than the group of men in the United States. Okay,
Right.
That's the truth that it's telling you. It seems to me that Hasan is making a bigger claim here, like that if you did show up for your date, you could assume that your female driver was a better driver than you. That's the claim that I think Hasan.
I don't think he's made that claim. I haven't heard him even try to make that claim. So I'm not sure why you feel that way.
Last point. When you show up for your date and you get in the car and you let your date drive, and she runs 6 stop signs and is racing through yellow lights, hits a car while she's parallel parking. What have you learned about?
You learned that person is a terrible driver.
And what was the process of learning that?
You experienced them terribly driving.
Right, that was your personal experience. Okay.
Yes.
There we go.
You understand that's not Andrew's argument at all. I don't know why you're not seeing this. Andrew's argument is because he's had all these, or what he claims is previous personal experiences with women being poor drivers, he's going to get into the car with his Tinder date and assume that she's a bad driver.
Right. Yes, and Hasan is going to assume the opposite. Based on his study.
They're both, if that's what they're doing, then they're both idiots.
Right.
Okay.
One epistemology is personal experience, and one epistemology is internet studies.
Except, okay, that's not...
Why the...
Because that's not what the fuck you... Okay. The original... No. You're adding so much to this fucking conversation. Do we have to go back and start it over again? Because all that happened was Hasan said, you said, Andrew Tate, that women are worse drivers than men, period. That was the only statement. There was no statement about how making prejudgments about when you get in a car with a woman, when you do all this other stuff. All that shit is just you're adding that. That was not part of the conversation.
What? Sorry. I was reading the chat. Continue.
The assumption that women are going to be like hysterical can be just as wrong, and they're both kind of right in different ways, but thinking that this has and it has absolutely nothing to do with the gender. The assumption that women here, and a lot of the things that you said that you've been called out on, specifically in regards to like women driving, as a matter of fact, are just generally untrue. There's no empirical evidence to back up those claims, which is why you resort to anecdotes quite frequently and say things like, oh, well, it's just common sense, right? But it's not technically common sense. It's just...
No claim has been made yet.
Okay, so we don't even know what the fuck the claim is at this point in the conversation.
There is no claim made here.
Okay.
So who's the bad boy here?
No one. Well, we both are, because no claim has been made.
Right.
My personal opinion based on my personal biases of my life experience. Now, when I say exactly. And when I say these things, X amount of people agree with me and X amount of people disagree with me. That's fine, and that's the same of nearly any statement in the world.
Okay,
I can say the world is round, and there'll be a percentage of people who disagree with me. That's totally and utterly fine.
Okay. If no claim has been made, and I don't think a claim ever is made specifically in this fucking conversation, they're both idiots. I think we can agree with this. They're both literally the dumbest fucks alive. But they won't even explain to the audience what the fuck the claim that they're arguing about even is.
Do you understand the different epistemology, though?
No, yeah, of course I do.
How you come to truth?
Oh my God, obviously. Okay.
Well, most people don't even know what epistemology means, Sitch. Okay, I'm not trying to talk down to you here. I'm trying to point out a difference in what's going on here. It's like you seem so offended by it
because it's boring.
Why? It's boring. Okay.
Obviously, we know this. We talked about this a million times. Obviously, the average. This is why this is frustrating. No,
first of all, I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody in the chat knows at all what we're talking about.
This is why this is frustrating to me.
Yeah, we've talked. You're getting triggered. Just let it all
endlessly.
Let it all out.
200 fucking streams about how people think about things in dumb fuck ways.
Yeah.
And one of the dumbest fuck ways that people think of things is they say, well, based on my anecdotal experience,
okay, so that's,
I make this extrapolation going forward.
So that's what's triggering you.
Wait,
so that's what's triggering you.
Yes.
So
we were literally
you're doing the scientism thing now.
Hold on. We were literally just criticizing TJ fucking 48 hours ago for making the same argument. And now suddenly you're saying, well, you know, it's okay to make this argument this way.
In the TJ thing, I made the exact same argument I'm making here.
No, you did. You're saying it's okay for TJ to say that all Republicans are fucking racist because of his personal experiences?
No, I said that you can't assume that from data. And I tried to drill in on actually, you know, his guesstimate numbers of what the data was. Hasan is coming. First of all, take a breath, okay? I don't understand why you're getting so triggered over this.
Because what you're saying, it really feels like you're trying to attack Hasan because he's Hasan, not because he's wrong.
What?
That's why. It's just like, it seems absurd to me.
You're getting. I think you're more triggered over that. I'm saying Andrew Tate has a point about.
I don't know.
Personal experience.
No, this is literally the first video I've ever seen of Andrew Tate in my entire fucking life.
Can I put the trigger? I feel like I need to put the triggered thing up. You're so triggered.
Your hypocrisy is what triggers me.
Oh my God! Now I'm a hypocrite.
If you're gonna start needling me,
now I'm a hypocrite.
Yes.
What have I done?
Explain to me. You're making all sorts of defenses for Andrew here. I didn't hear any of these defenses for TJ when we had our conversation on Sunday about Republicans being racist based on his personal experience.
Look,
everyone in that conversation, unless I missed it, because me, Mahler, and Sean were criticizing him for that take, and you were the lone defender. Maybe I missed that part of the conversation.
Get it all out. Go ahead. Get it out. Get it out. Let me know when you actually when it's my turn to speak.
For it.
Go ahead.
Go. You can get the talking.
I can speak now? Okay.
You can have the talking.
I am saying that there is something to lived experience. I mean, you can't say that your personal experience is completely.
What do you mean when you say there's something to it? I don't know what that means.
You do. I mean, you learn things from your lived experience that you can't necessarily learn from a study. So I think that's what is triggering you, that I'm giving any
you're
sort
making
of,
the fucking CRT argument like that. This is crazy.
No, you're so reading so much into what I'm saying. I
asked you to explain it and you didn't.
Look. Did I say, and would you ever think that I would say, that based on my lived experience, we can extrapolate some big, huge understanding of the world? If I know 4 women that are bad drivers, can we extrapolate?
No.
All women are bad drivers.
I don't think you would. So explain the difference, I guess, between that and what you're saying, because I don't understand.
Well, I'm saying there's the thing that's interesting for me here is that there are 2 people here making giant claims at opposite ends of the spectrum, and both of them don't really have enough information to make any of those claims. Hasan is saying that you can't know anything from your lived experience. And I think that's ridiculous. Of course, the only way we can live in the world is through our lived experience, through experimentation. But then everyone in the chat is like, oh my God, he said the word lived experience. So therefore, now he's a supporter of CRT. And he wants to say lived experience makes this, you're able to make these giant generalizations about the world from your lived experience, which I never said. It's amazing that you're accusing me of that. But to say that there's
I don't understand what your argument is.
To say that there's absolutely no value to lived experience is ridiculous as well. Now, all we have heard him say so far is he has his experience and he understands that Hasan is deferring putting his experience, like Hasan could potentially get into a car with 1,000 bad women drivers, and because the study says women are better drivers, he's gonna not notice this. Who knows? Maybe he lives in an era with terrible drivers.
Okay, I think I understand what the problem is. The problem is that since neither Hasan nor Andrew has actually explained what the claim is, we're both in our minds creating a claim.
Yes.
And assuming that's what's being argued. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know what the claim you think is being argued. I'm assuming that the claim that's being argued is that Andrew did the very thing you said you shouldn't do. That Andrew has personal experiences about women not being as good drivers as men, and is thus extrapolating that to the entire group and saying that women as a group are worse at driving than men as a group. I'm assuming that's what the claim is. Okay. Which you said, I'm assuming you say you agree with is a stupid thing to do.
It's a stupid claim. It's as stupid a claim as the claim that Hasan is making.
So what is the claim? So wait, what is the claim you think Andrew is making if he's not making that claim?
Well, I don't know that he ever makes that claim, to be honest with you. And he seems smart enough not to make that claim.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems to know that claim would be ridiculous.
So far in this conversation, I have no way of coming to that conclusion.
Well, I watched the video all the way through, so I have seen it to the end. And if he made that claim, it would jump out at me. I'd be like, "That's a ridiculous claim." He never makes that claim. So
what do you think he is? What is the claim?
But Hasan, I do feel is making the claim that women are, and Hasan says something in here that makes me think Hasan believes that women are better drivers in the individual way, even though that's bad, just, bad thinking.
What is the claim you think he's making? Andrew, not Hasan.
Andrew?
Yes.
Well, maybe, he could be making the claim that all women are worse drivers. Yeah.
Okay, so that's really dumb if he's making that claim.
He doesn't come out and say it explicitly, though.
Right.
Hasan does say something that sounds like he is explicitly saying all women are better drivers at the individual level.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Maybe
but this is the thing. I don't want to trigger you again, Sitch. Okay, you're going like full angry mode.
Because I love you, Adam.
Look, do we not know?
And I don't want you to fall into the pitfalls of bad thinking. Or at least
I never would. Okay,
I know. Or at least I'm under the assumption, maybe the incorrect one, that you're doing such a thing.
I know what's happened here. You first went Jordan Peterson. You've seen Jordan Peterson go down the dark path. You're worried. You're like, listen, his name is on the show. Adam can't go down the dark path. I'm with you. Okay.
There you go.
I'm not going down the dark path. Okay. The thing is, and this might trigger you, okay? I feel I might have to.
I'm waiting.
I might have to put a trigger warning on this. Okay.
Okay.
I don't think that we have enough information to know if perhaps Andrew lives in a place where you can scientifically, empirically say that women are worse drivers than men. Because he might live in a city where there's some third factor that we haven't considered or don't know about that matches up with his lived experience. That the truth is men just drive better in this city. Who knows? Maybe they have a gym teacher that's the best teacher, the best driver's ed teacher of all time. No man that passes his driver's ed class ever, fails at driving, never has an accident. So that could be a thing, right? We don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
but that driver ed teacher would be an idiot to make the larger extrapolating claim based, as you said, based on his personal experience.
Maybe Andrew Tate lives in a state where they don't let women take driver's ed. I don't know. All I'm saying is,
I would assume that if you were to break down by state driving statistics for men and women, and compare it to whatever the national driving statistics are, I would assume they would be fairly close, fairly similar. I don't think there's gonna be that much variation from state to state.
It's hard for me to imagine that they wouldn't be greatly, if you just separated out New York and Los Angeles. Los Angeles, you have to drive. New York.
Well, no, there's going to be.
Yeah.
You're right in that there's going to be more like accidents. You know, if you're in a rural area, obviously there's going to be less accidents, less aggressive driving. But I mean, if you, in terms of like who's causing, what I mean is like per proportion, who's causing more accidents, who's driving more recklessly. I don't think any of that proportionality is going to be very different from state to state.
Now, just for the little niños here that might not know what epistemology is, are we allowed to say that just in case there's like some newbies here?
Yes, if you want.
It doesn't know.
You can bring Reed on to talk about it if you want.
Well, you tell me what epistemology means.
Isn't that like, you know, it's a religion? They're the people that come to your house and they knock on your door and they say, "Have you found the word of Jesus?"
No, that's Catholicism. No, that's
okay.
Jehovah's Witness.
The epistemological, the Church of Epistemology. What they do is they knock on your door and they say, "Listen."
Oh no, that's Episcopalian.
They say, "Listen, we need to talk to you about not eating fish."
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
They say no. They knock on your door and they say, "Let me talk to you about how we derive knowledge, Adam."
There you go.
Do we derive knowledge from empiricism and science, or do we derive knowledge from
our lived
experiences? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So and this is why Sitch was so angry, because he's like, "Oh no,
Adam's become a CRTer.
Adam is going down the dark lived experience path."
Yes.
He's drift. Sargon has won him over. Sargon has defeated the show.
There you go.
Now
I thought Sargon pulled Adam to the dark side. Yes.
Now we're at the guts check test for our epistemology. No, obviously. You have to recognize the limitations of science. And I mean, really all good science begins with some sort of experience that you're like.
Obviously. Begins with is the key word.
Right. Yeah. No. Yes, I would say, listen, Andrew, let's figure this out, okay? For some reason.
First, I'd say, Andrew, what is your actual fucking claim that you're making?
Right. No, listen, if I had to devise a study, first of all, my hypothesis would be Andrew Tate dates a lot of women that are below average intelligence. That's what I would say. That's the place that I would probably begin.
Mm-hmm. I see.
I would say that driving requires a certain amount of intelligence, spatial intelligence, you know, being able to remember things like what stop signs mean.
Sobek in the chat says, Andrew travels the world. He doesn't live in a single place with bad drivers. He very often makes bold blanket statements of fact without backup. It's his thing if you watch his content.
Okay. So he lives in a state where not many people drive anyway?
No, he travels the world.
Okay.
Making very bold statements.
Right.
Yes.
Well, women couldn't even drive in like Turkey until 2015
there you go.
Something.
That must be the problem.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Like, can you imagine? Maybe he was in Turkey in 2015 when they just gave women the right to drive.
There you go.
And his lived experience is basically.
There you go.
All right. You feel better now?
Not really.
It's so bad. So bad. A good triggering kind of cleanses the soul, though.
Andrew Coey, thanks so much for being a free will seeker for 4 months, says the claim Tate is defending is that women are bad drivers. That was how this debate started. I'm assuming that's what the claim is.
Right.
I'm assuming. I mean, Hasan didn't state very clearly what Andrew's claim was, and Andrew didn't state it yet.
Right.
But that's what I'm assuming this conversation is. So.
Right. Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.